a North Carolina-based nonprofit engaged in the production and distribution of independent digital black media. Find out more by going to blacktalkradionetwork.com or blacktalkmediaproject.org and look for the menu tab, Crowdfunding Black Media. Black Talk Media Project, helping to provide you with new black media for the new millennium. Views and opinions expressed by callers and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BIB Radio. I am your host, at least one of your hosts, Sisi Harry, and I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Robert 11X. Are you there, Robert?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you excellent. I understand you're using a different device tonight, but we will definitely work on that. No problem. I am just so thankful for accountability tonight because we are here and we're making sure that our show proceeds as it should. So today is January 26th, 2017. And like I always say, my, the time is really going by quickly. So today on our show, Robert, I'm excited because we're going to be listening to an interview that you did this summer with a young man. I don't know his name, but he came over and wanted to interview you because of all the things that you're always doing. He was excited to interview you and your place of business at the flea market. Always, people are intrigued by everything that you're doing because you're always so enterprising with your business. One would consider it little, but then when they actually see how you have built from being nowhere in the back of your car all the way up till now, and even points beyond to where you're going, people don't have any choice except, even myself, except be blown away and inspired. So I'm excited to share this YouTube with our listeners tonight. And it's, I think, an hour and 33 minutes long. So there's no way in the world we could actually get through this whole video unless we extended time, which we are not going to do that. So what we'll do is at the end of the show, we will be sure and place this YouTube video into BIB Radio with your business. So one would consider it little, but then when they actually see that are listening, how you have built and would like to listen to it, you surely can. So we will definitely do that. But tonight's show is entitled BIB Radio, Still Aiding and Assisting You into the Necessity of Business. So we know that this is an entrepreneurial show, and this is a radio network that is also aiding and assisting our people into greatness. We want to encourage you all to support the Black Talk Media Project. And in order to do that, go to blacktalkradionetwork.com and see all what is offered there. Black Talk Radio Network CEO, Mr. Scotty Reed, is ready to help you with whatever it is that you need to start your blog, your radio program, advertisement, or what have you. So if you are interested in being independent and free from places that will oppress you in your radio programming, feel free to come over to this side. Again, just go to Black Talk Radio Network and look up the Black Talk Media Project and reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you.
Sisi,
but yes.
Sisi, greetings, Sisi and Robert. This is Scotty. How are you this evening?
Hi, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. I just wanted to add something to what you just said. We do provide services, and they could go to blacktalkmediaproject.org. But every Saturday, we give 2-hour free question and answer webinar where I'm not trying to, it's not like I have a set agenda. I'm there to answer your questions. Okay, anybody's questions is free and open to the public. That's every Saturday, 1 to 3. And that's Eastern time, 1 to 3. And it's right here using this conference line, uberconference.com/Black Talk Radio Network. And so, I'm just excited. Those classes, people have taken interest in them. Not as many as I like, but those who want help are coming to get help. And so thank you.
Okay, with that being said, Scotty, if you are making this commitment to teach these classes every Saturday, I would like to really encourage you to blow it up. I mean, let's create a commercial. Let's create something that could circle around social media to our people so that they know it's available, and also solicit donations. I think that would be a great idea since you are committed to doing this on a regular basis.
Yes, and we have been, I have put a couple of ads out there. None on the network. I may need one for our network. But also, I have committed to this, and we do ask for donations, even though it's not required. We don't require a donation, but it'd be nice if if you learning something and you benefiting to help support it so others can learn stuff and benefit later.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, the more we can empower our people, the more that we are encouraged to sustain ourselves, instead of just scrambling around trying to figure it out. You have a person that is well versed in the internet and can help you, ready to help you do what you need to do concerning the internet. So it's great. Robert, are you there? Uh-oh. We cannot hear you, Robert.
Yes, I am.
Okay, now I hear you. Perfect. Okay, so I can hear you now. I know you're having some difficulty with that phone sometimes, so I know that. But what I want to talk about before we get into the video is, I want to let people know again, we are here to help you in your business endeavors. We want to continue to encourage you to become independent of the slave master. And there's a lot of information going around saying that everybody can't be self-employed, but I believe everybody can do something for themselves. Okay. So, whether that be, it's just time to really find out and exercise what your skills are. And we're going to help you with that every single week. What we're going to be doing soon is actually doing live tutorials with people who have no idea how to get started. So I'm excited about that. But with that being said, I am putting myself on the table as sort of a guinea pig. Now, I've been in business since I was, 23, I would say. I've been in business since I was 23. Now, there's a lot of things that I do know in business, but I'm starting a couple new things. And in doing that, I'm kind of working backwards in order to move forward. So what I'm doing is I'm seeking out help from people, places, and things that are free to kind of see what's out there concerning starting a business. What is it that is hindering people? What information are they not getting? So I'm putting myself out there as if I'm a brand new business. And by doing that, I signed up for some classes with an organization called SCORE. SCORE, Counselors to America's Small Business. That's what they call themselves, and it's www.score.org. Okay, so I think it's a government company through the SBA, the Small Business Association. But again, it's free information. I'm not telling you to go out and take out loans and grants and do all this. I mean, that's something you can do if you want to, no problem. But I'm just offering the free information from me to you, things that I'm finding out. But they have these wonderful conference calls. I think they're like every day. But the first conference call I took, it lasted about an hour and a half. And it was wonderful because the information that I got is a show that I'm building on for you all to listen later on. I'm not going to tell you about it right now. And the second one I heard was this Monday. This past Monday, we were doing our wholesaling, Robert and I, we were shopping for our business and we were out of town, but I was able to listen to that class while shopping for my items. And it was so convenient and it was wonderful because I was able to get this great information. They were giving a class on how to hire your first employee. Now that was good for me because that employee stuff, I always subcontract people because I am not paying employee taxes. I'm not paying all this insurance and all that stuff. I'm going to write you out a nice fat contract that you're going to sign, that you're self-employed and you're just contracted by me because I'm not doing all that, But if you are looking to move forward, the reality is you have to hire people sometimes, So that reality for me is quite evident. So what I did was I listened to this webinar from SCORE and it was tremendous. Now, I encourage you all to do the same thing. Start looking, sometimes you do have to pay for help. I don't discourage that, but first start looking to see what free information is out there. Now, one bit of free information is our radio program every single week. Every Thursday, you can call in at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we will help you, aid and assist you with the information that is needed. But I'm really big on this SCORE organization right now. Then the next thing I did was with SCORE, I went down to their office because they offer you a free mentor, like a mentoring person concerning whatever you may have with business. And they kind of guide you through different situations that you can take their classes, and they're completely free. Again, they have some classes you come in and sit down. They have a class on teaching you how to write a business plan. And I would encourage anybody, even if you're already in business, just start over. Take these classes, reset, and get the information that you need so that you can build yourself up from where there are deficits. That's what I'm doing. So when I went down to SCORE, Robert and I'm just so excited about this. I have all the little books in my lap that the people gave me, and they gave me a lot of stuff. They gave me a book called Steps for Growing Your Business. And it's pretty thick. They gave me one called How to Really Structure Your Business, a guide to forming a corporation or limited liability company, LLC. They gave me one called Business Technology Programs. Okay. And then 10 simple steps to finding customers and delivering the goods. And let's see, how to really incorporate your business. Now those are, wait, let me see. There's some more down here. That's from UPS. No, this is some other stuff that was in my car. You don't want to know about that. 16 steps to starting a business while working full time. Now that is what some of you guys need because you're still on a full-time job. 16 steps to starting a business while working a full-time job. Now, of course, we would like for you to cycle off that job so you don't have to have the hard times that I know some of you are having. But if you're not going to, like I have a friend right now, she's working on a job. She's been there since like 90 something, she told me, and she wants to get off. So this would be good for her. 16 steps to starting a business while working a full-time job. Again, these publications are put out by SCORE, and there is a SCORE in all the United States. Wherever you live, there is a SCORE organization. Okay. So look them up. SCORE, SCORE.org. Okay. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, that's just, score.org. Perfect. So, and then Robert and I went inside the SCORE building when we were having this meeting with this guy, and he actually sat down with me and wrote out my business idea and was kind of helping me brainstorm. And I had to humble myself because I'm a little Miss Know-It-All. But I just humbled myself and listened to what he said because I know they're used to talking to people sometimes that have no clue. But I knew what he was talking about, so I just kind of humbled myself again. Then after we were done with him, let's see, he gave me a whole list of classes that are offered in 2017. I mean, there's like, they have their whole calendar down, like what they're offering every month. And I'm just like so excited because I will be taking these classes. But after we left out of there, we went into their main foyer area where they actually have like a whole library of publications on how to start different businesses. And I mean, they have like binders of like how to start a baking company, how to start a childcare, how to start a trucking company. And I was like so excited about that. I mean, we looked up the information to find out like how to get these books. So we'll put that on BIB, or in BIB. If I can find it here, because I took a picture of it, I'll definitely let you all know that information because I was so, okay, it should be here somewhere. I was so excited for that. Actually, Robert, you have that. Do you have it somewhere?
What is the information you need?
I am looking for that information where we were trying to purchase those publications from SCORE. Remember, you took a picture of it? The publications.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
do. Give me 1 second here. Let me get right to it. Of course, I'm looking up some other information as you was talking. Let's see. Gallery. Camera. That. Oh, okay. So that was by Entrepreneur Magazine.
Okay, Entrepreneur Magazine has put out publications for you to, I guess, purchase. What do you have the phone number and web information there?
Yes, I do. And it says order by fax. And that fax number is 1-914-566-7020. Or you can call the toll-free number. It's 1-800-421-2300. You can go on to visit their website at www.smallbizbooks.com. And that's SMALLBIZBOOKS.com. And it says, please refer to source code ZZMM. So that's that information from those how to start up guides.
Perfect. And that's Googleable. So if they wanted to just Google it, what would you suggest they Google?
I would suggest that you would Google Entrepreneur Magazine, how to start a business series or a business books, something along that line. And that should pull it up for you. And I'm actually do that.
Yeah, because you were excited. You were really excited to see those publications. I didn't even look at them because I just wanted to take them all home. But they don't let you do that. The man let us know. He said, no, these are just for the office. So you actually need to just like pack a little lunch and go down there and sit at the little table and take notes. I guess you could take screenshots of certain information if you needed to, but shoot, I just want the publications. And I think Robert is going to look up to see if he can get them on audiobooks because, I mean, that's a library worth having, like how to start all these different businesses. I mean, everything that I'm thinking of, I saw right there. And I was like, man, this is better than the library. Because at the library, of course, you know, you might go in there for one thing. It's kind of like the grocery store. You go in there for one thing, but you end up in a whole another section getting some books about everything. I mean, I'm a library hoarder. I check out no less than 20 books at the library every time I go. Do I read them all? Nope. But I get excited. So it was good to go in there and look at the business publications that they had available to people starting a business or already in business. It was, I mean, I just really appreciated that. And then let's see, I even saw on the table, they had a book called Digital Minds, 12 things every business needs to know about digital marketing. Now, I would suggest that you all look into digital marketing. And like Scotty was saying, every Saturday he has a time where he is teaching class where it's kind of an open forum where you can get information that you need about digital marketing, digital platforms, all that stuff. Whatever you have question about, you definitely could engage with Scotty every Saturday. And it's the same thing. It's on this Uber conference call. So all you would have to do is go to www.uberconference/Black Talk Radio Network. And that's every Saturday at, oh goodness, what time is it? It is was it 1 p.m.? What time is it, Saturday, Scotty, on Saturday?
Yes, it would be 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern time on Saturdays.
Okay, okay, that's perfect. So there you have it, people. Engage in that class so that you can get even if you don't want to talk, I find it very helpful to just sit there and listen to other people's questions because it helps you. People might have questions that you actually have questions about, and you didn't know you had those questions until the person asked the question. I know that sounds like a web of craziness, but you know how when you sit and you get information and it's like, wow, I didn't even think about that. And that whatever it is that they said something about may spark a question in your mind, and you should just really get out a pad and paper and take out notes. If you're not doing anything on Saturday, especially, why not enrich your entrepreneurial mind? If you're starting a business, thinking of starting a business, just go ahead and get that good information. So, Robert, what in the world is going on down at the flea market or in Blacks in Business or Jag Laundry Detergent? What do you have going on?
Well, I mean, we're constantly growing, very rapidly growing. The biggest thing right now is for us, we're looking to private label our laundry detergent. That's our core product. So that's what we've been working on, talking back and forth to a few different people that offer these labels. So anybody in the listening audience, if you all know someone who actually does labeling for our 5-gallon buckets and our 1-gallon buckets, please feel free to inbox us on the internet. If you know someone that personally, preferably, we would love to stick with, someone that's Black in business to circulate that dollar among ourselves. But we also are in business to make money. So we want everything about being in business has to be, of the essence, the cost factor as well as the timing of it. So we're definitely looking for someone to do that. But as you get back to that question, just like as I said, we're just constantly growing, constantly expanding, looking to head out to this ASD trade show coming up in March. Constantly exploring more and more trade shows in Chicago. Chicago has been one of our main sources of products. We go there almost every week. And, you, Sisi, as well as myself, we've said this to each other, is you can never exhaust the wealth of information and as it pertains to wholesale in Chicago in a month. I don't think you can do it in a month. If we were there 30 days, we still wouldn't tap into, I don't think it would be 15% of all the wholesale outlets in Chicago. So I want to strongly urge our customers, not our customers, but our listeners to, if you're an entrepreneur, look into going to Chicago, look into doing business with wholesalers, and there are a lot of manufacturers in Chicago as well. Look into that, and the reason I say that is because of the amount of time that it takes to drive to Chicago and back. You can do that in a day. You can save on shipping. Another benefit for that driving to Chicago is we hit about 4 to 5, sometimes 6 different places in a day. And if you had packages being shipped from 4, 5, or 6 different places, that's a shipping charge. And normally we come back with a nice amount of stuff. So shipping average is going to be about $30 average. And that's not shipping in a lot of merchandise. We spend on average $300 to get to Chicago and back. That's renting a van, that's gas or whatever. So, I mean, you really need to go to Chicago, all entrepreneurs, those who are seeking products that you can't find locally, go to Chicago and do that, because that's what we do on a weekly basis. But I'm just more and more excited. Things happen. When you have a partner like I do, the partner that I have, it's always very promising how bright the future can be. You know, I mean, just when you're aggressive, it's like every day I get up, I know it's going to be a great day. You know, when we go to our place of business, you know, the energy that I put into what I do, the energy that Sisi puts into what she does and how she does it, you know, it's just a great thing to be able to be with somebody, a partner, whether it's your partner or whether it's your mate. You got to have the right energy to make your business go. And if you don't have the right energy, then do it by yourself, because then you know there's nothing to disturb you. But if you're with someone, whether it be personal or, you know, just business, the energy really counts. And that's what you need. So that's about it in a nutshell, what's going on right now. We got some things coming out that we're working on that's, you know, we're going to take it to a whole nother level.
Right. I agree. I think that 2017 is, you know, just definitely, they say the best is yet to come. I really believe that too, you know, and you're right. When you can work with your partner and have a great energy because you do what you're good at and I do what I'm good at, the business just flows, you know. Whereas some may complain about slow days or whatever, you know, we really just don't have that problem because let's say it is a quote slow day. Well, you take that time and you take care of the back end of the business. People don't look at that. They always look at, oh, make the money, make the money. Yes, you do need to make the money. But a lot of times you're actually not making the money because you're not taking care of the things on the back end. You know, you're not making sure that you are monetizing your products and services. You're not making those follow-up phone calls. I took time, you know, to listen to a wonderful webinar from Mr. Andre Hatchett. He was on our program a couple months ago, but he had a program where they were talking about monetizing and just doing these different things in your business. And one thing they talked about was the follow-up and how important, we'll put that in the BIB radio. I'm not going to like really go through all of it. But how important the follow-up is with your clients. You know, a lot of people just get the dollar and forget the client and that's it. That is not good. You definitely want repeat customers. You want those customers to bring their friends. I mean, you really need that. I mean, what are you doing if you're not following up? Again, if you're just worried about getting that quick dollar and you're not either calling, emailing, or text messaging your clients, if you're not setting up systems for that, that's what the webinar was about, systems. If you're not setting up systems for that, then you are setting yourself up for failure in this age of technology. Some people don't like all that stuff and they have the option of blocking your messaging. That's fine. But what about the ones that do? You might have one that doesn't like that. What about the 9 that do, you know, and they're spending their money with you and you're not taking your time to thank them? You know, that's just like a slap in the face, really. I mean, you know how it feels when you go into a place of business and the people are not really treating you as if you're welcome or you're not a good customer or like you didn't just spend $100 with them. You know what that feels like. So don't do your customers the same way. I mean, I'm really, really, really into getting this business information for yourselves. Again, You do have to pay sometimes, but first seek what you can find for free. Again, this network provides free information. I can't stress it enough. Definitely make sure that you are seeking free information to get your business started or to maximize the business that you're already doing. Okay, so we are at the first half hour of the program. And what I would like to do is reintroduce my co-host, Mr. Robert 11X Minor, very influential man on the scene here in St. Louis, doing big things in his store that's located at the Grand Slam Marketplace. His store is located at the Grand Slam Marketplace. I'm not saying he has a booth in the flea market. That's not it. No, he has a store at the Grand Slam Marketplace. So there are many people impressed by this. And there was an interview conducted this past summer as he was building. I mean, he's even built on even more since then. But I'm going to let you all listen to this interview. And what we'll do is after the commercial breaks, we'll dialogue a bit and then we'll go back into it. Like I explained in the beginning, the video is actually 1 hour and 33 minutes. So there's no way that we're going to listen to the whole video, but I definitely want to hear or allow you to hear him speak and the interview. And we'll post the interview itself in BIB Radio, and you all can listen at your own leisure. If you have questions after the interview, feel free to reach out to us by email. We are blacksinbusiness@gmail.com, or you can message us in BIB Radio. So all capital letters, BIB Radio. Get a hold of us if you have questions after the video. Robert, you have anything to say before we start this video? Because I know you haven't heard it in a long time and you're going to amaze yourself. You might want to get out a pad and a paper. A pad and a pencil, I mean.
The video actually was a part, or is to be a part of, and I haven't talked to the producer of a documentary that was supposed to be coming out the first part of this year. So I'm hoping that we can get in touch with the guy that actually did the filming and see what's going on with that documentary. But he had heard through the grapevine to somebody that knew about me and had been talking to me that he needed to come and talk to me to hear my experience, my story, I should say. So I'm eager to listen and see what I said. I haven't heard it over you.
Yeah, it's been a while, but yep. So I am excited to introduce you all again to Mr. Robert 11X. Scotty, just go ahead and play the video.
Grand Slam Indoor Marketplace, that's 2505 Chambers Road. I started a business here about almost a year ago, and what I do is laundry detergent. I sell 5-gallon buckets of laundry detergent. We sell the body wash for the Dove body wash. We sell fabric softeners. We also ship these containers anywhere in the United States. We sell it wholesale as well. I actually started this business out of the backseat of my car. A year ago this time I was homeless, moved back to St. Louis from Las Vegas, chasing some money that the city of St. Louis owed me. Didn't realize the amount of time it would take to actually get that money, so it landed me sleeping in the backseat of my car. Stayed there for about 30 days, and a guy I was buying detergent from, I went there, talked to him, told him what was going on. We laughed about me being homeless because I own real estate, and he gave me $600 worth of the detergent, and the rest was history. You know, I just went hard at it, didn't let up on it, and just continued to sell, buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. I had a vision of actually manufacturing the product myself, and we are almost at that point. You know, right now we're dealing direct with a manufacturer, and we're in talks to them about actually manufacturing our own detergent. A lot of times I tell people that the most important part about starting a business is actually having the determination, the desire, and you have to have a reason why you want to do it. And your reason why has to be the thing that drives you the most. And you know, it's something that I see in everybody that they can do this. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to be a business owner. But in today's time, you're gonna have to resort to doing something for yourself, because the way that this economy is, the lack of jobs, Caucasians don't even have enough jobs to supply for their own people. So that leaves us out here alone, scrambling, wondering what we're gonna do. So you're gonna have to, at some point, find in yourself the businessman that is in each and every one of us to actually begin to start bartering or actually selling whatever the commerce that we use to trade is at that time. We're going to have to adjust our minds and either begin to barter or use that commerce with one another in order to build communities, because it's just getting to a point now that if you look around in your community, you don't see a lot of black businesses. You see a lot of businesses other than black businesses, but yet we spend all this money. It's $1.1 trillion a year. So one of my biggest things in the community that I talk about is the community leaders, and those leaders may be ministers, imams, pastors, whatever they may be, black leadership. One of my big pet peeves with these people here is that they don't do enough to suggest to the people that follow them to support black business, and then bigger than that, open up black business. Those two go parallel together. You got to first educate the people on why we need to support black businesses. That's one thing. And then you need to suggest to the people to open up more black businesses. You know, there's a lot of men out here. I'm finding a lot of people that's talking about business as it pertains to black people. You hear a lot of black business talk, but I see a lot of those people that talk black business are not even in business. It's just like going to school to a university and trying to learn business one-on-one with somebody. All they have is a degree in teaching business, but they haven't put their feet on the ground to actually get out here and know how to conduct business. And that's a big problem. Black radio for many years for me began to become a earsore, because they always talked about the problem but never really identified the solution. And being in business, it helps you identify the solution to our problem, one of the main solutions to our problem. When it all boils down, no matter what demographics we come from, we all got to pay bills at the end of the month. So that means we all need some money. When it all boils down, regardless of what religion you are, what fraternity or sorority you come from, we all gonna need to pay the bill collector at the end of the month. So, with that being said, what in my opinion, we have to get on a financial page in reference to make a change in our existence here in America, and then build our own communities, buy up land. There's a way to do that without agents. I talk about that all the time, you know, just dealing directly with the owner, owner financing, creative financing. But we have to buy the land. There are school buildings all over the cities in America. We can buy these school buildings up. I put a deal together on Facebook. It can take as little as 6 people to go out and buy one school building that can house maybe 20 to 40 different families, open up a restaurant, because you got a cafeteria there, you got a football field, you got a basketball court, you got tennis courts. In these school grounds, you have libraries, you have everything that you can use to begin to start your own community within that school building. And these buildings can be purchased for $1 million or less, you know, but we're not collectively thinking. I haven't ran across anybody that's on the same page or thinking like this. So, I mean, these are things that I'm constantly, every day, living to see a change in. I'm blessed to see my son, who's 19 years old, actually right down the way here. We made him a competitor to this booth here. But that's how we work together, you know. Big corporations create competitors. I follow what big corporations do. One thing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he said that study the Caucasian, take it from him the good, and apply it. Well, that was one of the things that I saw that definitely I didn't see black people using the strategies of large corporations. So when you talk about setting up a competitor to yourself, I mean, you got to really think about what does that look like. And so just a small demonstration. It doesn't matter how big or small you think you are. If you're doing this, then you got to think big. And if you think big, you'll move big. So now my son is all the way in. He worked for Nike. The last job he had, he worked for Nike. And Nike is a pretty big corporation. However, my son shared with me a few weeks ago, Dad, I made my first stack. I was like, what was a stack? What's a stack? I don't know what a stack is. And he said $1,000. And I said, man, that's heavy. You made your first $1,000 working with your father. So that was pretty heavy to me. That's pretty deep, because I never made a dime working with my father. And the benefits of actually creating your own business, working for yourself, for women, it's really beneficial for women, because women usually get stuck with the children. You know, the fathers are off doing their thing. So for a woman, she definitely should be considering creating a business from home. It's something that she can free her time up to be with those children. What I learned from being in business, one of the benefits was I was able to attend all of my children's affairs in school. I could go to the first day of school. I could go to any parent-teacher conference, the sporting events, cheerleading, all that. I was able to go there, you know, and didn't have to tell nobody I needed a day off to do these things, you know, and not, you don't have to necessarily go into business. You have to sometimes just find something to do to generate money, because reality is you got to pay bills. But as you do this as a practice, then you can move towards those things that you desire to do, you know. But if you never get into it, then those things that you desire to do, they just stay on that shelf called desire, because you didn't take the chance to leap, as Steve Harvey said about taking the leap. You didn't take the leap to just get your feet wet into this thing. So I just took a leap. When I first started, I started selling air fresheners. Came from a life of crime and selling drugs, and then went into selling air fresheners. People thought I was crazy. But it wasn't about the product. It was about the energy I put into it. It was about the desire. It was about not ever putting myself at risk of going to the penitentiary. And I knew that I was not a drug dealer. I knew that I was an entrepreneur. And there's a difference between just being one specific a drug dealer. There's a lot of guys that's just drug dealers. I try to tell them, you got to switch that product up, because that product is going to land you in a penitentiary or in the grave. You know, so I took a $5 bottle of air freshener, went from a $1,000 package of cocaine to a $5 bottle of air freshener. People thought I was crazy. But I had the drive, I had the energy. My why was I was looking at 30 years of life in penitentiary, and I definitely didn't want to go there. So I had to straighten up my act and do what was right, and I did. And it's almost 22 years later. I haven't punched the time clock. I haven't filled out an application in over 22 years. I've owned quite a few different pieces of property. I've taken care of my children all the way from high school, from elementary to high school. My grandmother, we took her out the nursing home, brought her into my home, I took care of her. So, I mean, this thing here, if you really just have, as the Bible say, and I'm not a Bible quoter, and nor am I a surah quoter, but I'm an actual doer of the word. If you just have the faith of a mustard seed, just a look, matter of fact, you can have half the faith of a mustard seed. You can make this thing happen for you, you know. So I advise anybody that see this video, that anybody that, you know, that has thought about doing something alternative other than working, and those who have not been able to find a job, that's struggling, pulling your hair out, wondering how you're gonna get this bill paid, just find some tissue, something simple that everybody in the community needs, and go door to door. One of the biggest things that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said do to all Muslims in the Nation of Islam, we taught to go door to door, which is something that a lot of us don't do to this day. But the science behind going door to door is so real and dynamic. There's a brother that got a book, Fuller, H.B. Fuller, was this his name? HB Fuller?
Leland Fuller?
No, Mr. Fuller, okay. And from the, he actually helped Mr. Dudley get a foundation started, cosmetic line or beauty supply line of, beauty supply stuff, whatever. But this guy went door to door. The Dudley went door to door selling products, and knocking on those doors is what really helped that company get, off the ground. So, I mean, these are some of these ways of building businesses we just ignore. I've been in business 22 years, and that's something that I see that is greatly needed to build a business. But the main thing about building a business, in my opinion, is definitely having the desire, having that will, and just being able to stay steadfast and don't give up. Don't give up. There's a lot of things that's gonna come at you. We've had lights turned off in this 21 years. Now much better now, but in the beginning, the lights would get turned off. I would tell my former wife, hey, I'll pay it Monday, but over the weekend I need the product. So Union Lake, we had lots of candles in my house, a lot of candles, and we lit a lot of candles. So you have to be willing to sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice, then you don't get the reward of this thing. Right now, at this point in my life, I'm getting the reward of it now. There's nothing greater than to have your offspring see what you're doing and see the benefit of it, and then jump right in there and tell you, I can't never go to work for somebody. And my son's 19 years old. That's just a reward. That's a benefit. I can't put a price on that. So it's definitely doable, and you have to see yourself as being a business person. And you'll start talking once you start making some money. For those that say, I'm not a talker, I don't like to talk to people. Well, the moment you start making some money and you keep on making some money, you're going to talk more and more and more, and then you're going to grow right out of that, because you're going to see the reward of talking is getting paid to do it. So, so this is a company called BIB Blacks in Business, which we also started in the back seat of that car a year ago as well. And with BIB Blacks in Business, what we try to do is help young entrepreneurs, black men and women, get the correct information that can aid and assist them to success. And when I say the correct information, one thing in retail that I've discovered is that when I go to trade shows in Las Vegas, I really don't see a lot of black business owners. Now, we do, as black people, we open up a lot of black businesses. But at the trade shows where the world come and meet, I don't see a lot of black business owners there at those trade shows. What I see is a lot of Caucasians, Jews, and Asian people. Now, if we're going to win in business, then we have to attend these trade shows. If you don't attend the trade shows, then you're not meeting with the industry leaders. If all you do is go to your local wholesaler, those guys are not the industry leaders. They're just your local wholesalers, and chances are they may not even go to the trade shows. So I'm saying, if you want to win, you want to get a direct contact with the manufacturer, then you have to go to the trade shows to get that direct contact. Other than that, it's like rolling the dice. And the only time you win at rolling the dice is when the odds fall in your favor. But those odds are in everybody's favor at the same rate. So, you, as a black business owner, you have to go to the trade shows. You got some business?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I report you getting some business done.
Yeah, well, hey,
you gotta do that.
This is all part of what we do. What y'all need?
Oh yeah, I was gonna give one of them. I don't know what.
Oh, okay. Tide game, we got it. Tide things, breeze. Yep. We got you. You want the breeze? Yeah, pump. Stay on pump. Okay, good.
All right, right on, man.
All right, so come on back and see us, man. Appreciate it.
What's this on, man?
It's a documentary that they doing, man, and it's all about black business and black economics, So, you know, I met the brother a little while back. Brother Emperor came by, and we was able to connect, you know, and it's something that every black man should be on, every black woman should be on, supporting black business. I mean, you know how much money we spend a year as black people with white folks?
Oh, man.
$1.1 trillion, bro.
I believe you. I already know. I know.
And that's why ain't no black business.
Right.
Yeah, that's just us. And that's why we don't see no black business in the black community.
Are they? But you know, just like with Black Wall Street, you know what I'm saying? You know what happened, man. You know.
Yeah.
So if we start doing that, you already know it's gonna have you see what's going on. So.
Oh, well, if they do that and we straight unify and know how to knock on doors at 5 in the morning when they come in and try to terrorize us, then we have to do the same to them. I mean, that's just how it goes, because we can do it to each other. Oh, we know how to terrorize each other.
Fight fire with fire, but I mean, everybody, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, so, you know,
This was up, man.
no doubt, black man. No doubt.
All right, thanks, brother. Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah, so, like I say, man, you know, we got to teach more about entrepreneurship and conducting the business in the best possible way. Getting back to that trade show thing, you know, a lot of people out here always talk about going to China. China is good. I mean, China is good, but realistically speaking, China is not the move that most people that starting business is going to make.
Going to China for what? For the product?
For the product. They think, a lot of times you think that you're going to go to China and get the best price possible. Okay, there's truth to that. There is very much truth to that. However, the misunderstanding is, if you've never been to a trade show, what you don't realize is that China is trying to get to America to do business.
Mm-hmm.
So they're always at these trade shows. Matter of fact, they usually have a section in these trade shows where there's nothing but China vendors trying to sell their product by the container loads. So that saves you a trip from going all the way to China, because if you're going to China, it doesn't make sense to buy anything less than a container load after traveling that far. You know, so you can go to these trade shows, you can meet the business owners from China that want to do business with businesses here in America. They're right here. They're flying all the way from China to America. We got a trade show coming up in January called the Consumer Electronics Show, the CES show, where these nice cameras and lights that you have right here, Canon should be there. Canon will have all their new equipment ready to sell to retailers, you know, and if you got tax ID numbers and stuff like that, you can attend these shows, you know, and get, I'm talking about prices that will blow your mind for these products, you know. So, and you're gonna have a lot of vendors from China. You're gonna have a whole section with nothing but Chinese people, and you'll have to get a interpreter to go and speak with them. See, so that's the misunderstanding that people have about doing business. They on the right track because you want to get it cheap, and you know that's you should want to get it cheap, but you don't have to travel to China to do that. You can get that right in the trade show in Las Vegas. I've been back and forth to Chicago here lately, and Chicago is another major hub that we're going to start going to a few trade shows there to see if it's anything in comparison to Las Vegas. But so far, Vegas is the place for trade shows, hands down. You can't get a better place, I'm talking about throughout the whole planet Earth, than Las Vegas.
I just want to find out about trade shows to do wholesales, and let me ask you another question. How is it that you chose soap and air fresheners to initially start your business? What was that initial decision?
Well, the soap, really, truth be told, it went under my radar because when I got introduced to it, I had a sock store in South City called Sockatoo. And so I was so focused on socks, I was all in. I mean, when I say all in, I'm on the phone at 3 in the morning talking to vendors in China. That's how all in I was, because I was really trying to be the biggest person doing socks here in St. Louis or in the United States. My vision was there. My money wasn't there, but I was going to work a deal out, creative financing with one of those companies to get them to finance the deal. But so I wound up going out of business in the sock business, And like I say, when I got back from Vegas and actually became homeless, well, I went over to Illinois where I was buying the soap from a guy, and we laughed about me being homeless. And he said, well, here's $600 worth of soap, because he had been trying to get me to sell it for the longest. And he said,
what was it about him who saw you? Why did he want you specifically?
Well, he you know, sometimes some people can see your drive. Mm-hmm. And that's what I tell people, that if you can't read a person, then you may miss out on a good thing. You got to be able to, like, there's young people walking around me. The young lady just walked in, as a matter of fact. Now, when I met her, she was selling me something, and she sold me a product that I made good money off of. And I was listening to her very well. 20 years of ear training, you know what to hear. And out of her mouth came golden words. And I was like, I need you on my team. Now somebody else got her on the team, and I see how she moves. But that's what he was able to see in me. He saw that hustle. He saw that drive, you know, and those are the things that a lot of times as business owners, we don't necessarily see. The guy that I went to initially to get started in business told me the game was to be sold, not to be told. And my response to that was, maybe to the average guy, but I'm not the average guy. And I wind up hiring some of my little guys in my neighborhood when the light bulb went off in my head on how to get the information that I needed. I was cutting a shipping label off a box, and because I was selling oils. So I didn't want anybody to know where I was getting my oils from. So I would always cut the shipping label off. Well, one day, while thinking about how to get in the clothing industry, I was cutting the shipping label off, and the light bulb went off in my head. It was like bells. Ding, 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 ding. This is what I need to do. I hired about 3 or 4 little guys from out of the hood. I say, go in all the clothing stores' trash cans and cut these labels off their box and bring them back to me. And the one main label that was brought back to me was from Tucker's, Tucker's Fashions off Grand and St. Louis Avenue. I guess it was just called Tucker's. And that was the one piece of information that got me in touch with a manufacturer who told me about the Magic Show in Las Vegas, the world's largest clothing trade show, which led to me going to Las Vegas and opening up my own clothing store. So, I mean, you gotta, when you see another thing about entrepreneurship, they say people attract, it's like you're a magnet to knowledge, you're a magnet to people that's doing certain things that you're interested in doing when you start thinking that way. And so that's just how it happens. You usually attract what it is that you desire to be if the desire is strong enough. It gotta be sincere. It can't be no, I'm thinking about it. No, I'm in this. So I'm going to automatically make you know that I'm in it, because you're going to see a certain energy coming off of me that's going to automatically appeal to people that's doing things. You see what I'm saying? So that's how that works. But I mean, man.
So you were telling me, I'm sorry to interrupt, you were telling me about Blacks in Business and with the vision that you got to get that started. I'm not exactly sure if you finished, but I wanted you to still kind of bring that point out.
Yeah. So, like I say, you know, the goal, the purpose, I saw a need dealing with black businesses based off the experience of going to trade shows. When I didn't see us in numbers at these trade shows, it disturbed me. I'm like, man, I knew that when I went, I was winning, because I eliminated the wholesaler and dealt directly with the manufacturer, which put another 30% of profit in my pocket. Now, my fortune was, the first building I bought was a storefront on the bottom and an apartment on the top. I had a 2-bedroom apartment and a storefront on the bottom. Now, I know most people that go into business have a rental situation over here, and then they jumped into a rental situation to open up their store. Well, automatically, that's like two swords in you at the same time. Mm-hmm. And you buying from a wholesaler. Mm-hmm. So now you got rent here, which is, that's not a asset, that's a liability. You got rent here, another liability, and then you're dealing with a wholesaler that's a liability, in my opinion. So you got three strikes against you right there. Mm-hmm. For me, it was just the opposite. I had both my residential and my business under one roof, only paying one note. My mortgage note for that first piece of property was $459 a month.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
I couldn't lose.
Exactly. Plus you can write it off.
There you go. You see?
You say that because they probably can't hear me.
Yeah, and then on top, you can't lose with that, and you can write it off. So many different tax deductions coming out of your residential, your business. You can't lose at $459 a month. Okay, so on top of that, then going to the trade show and dealing direct with the manufacturer. Mm-hmm. Hey man, if I was doing this, when I got my grandmother, I could only open up my business maybe 2 days out of a week because she needed 24-hour care. Mm-hmm. So on the weekends, I would go to the flea market, and doing minimum, I was able to float through 7 years of taking care of her. Mm-hmm. Doing very minimum. It wasn't the easiest 7 years, don't get it wrong now. But, I mean, just knowing the difference between dealing with a manufacturer or buying wholesale, having that mortgage at $459 rather than having two separate rental situations, exactly. It allowed me to be able to have some ease going through that, you know. And those are the things that I sat back and I said, man, we don't know these things. We don't know how to. My first deal was done non-conventional real estate. It was a non-conventional deal.
What do you mean non-conventional?
My partner caught the guy outside with a real estate agent, okay, in the building that was across the street from where we were staying. My partner, his name is Rashid Shabazz, out of Las Vegas. He owned a building on the corner of California and Utah. I started renting from him, so we was in the same building. He saw the guy that had the building across the street, caught him, was able to work a deal with him, eliminating the agent that the guy had met with that day. The agent did get the contract to sell it. Rashid put a deal together on that building, came to my door and told me, he said, bruh, the next time anybody tell you that they want for you what they want for themselves, he said, here's your scale to weigh them on. Close this deal like I've been teaching you and give your children a better life. Now, that was a phenomenal thing that has happened in my life. Nothing like that has ever, nothing on that level has ever happened again.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to BIB Radio. We're going to go to a commercial break and come right back. Thank you.
Radio since 2008, providing new black media for the masses.
All right, everybody, we are back. This is BIB Radio, and you're listening to us on Black Talk Radio Network. We're here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, talking to you about the entrepreneurial needs of Black people. Today, we are aiding and assisting you into business, as we do each week. We are listening to a video or a YouTube video of my co-host, Mr. Robert 11X, where he is talking about entrepreneurship and business and how he got started and just a couple different things. So we are going to go ahead and dialogue about this. So, Robert, are you there? Yes, you are. Let me unmute you. All right. So, Robert, what do you think so far?
Oh wow! I was just listening to listening to myself, and I sent you a text. We definitely need to book this guy on our show.
Who? The guy who was interviewing you?
No, the guy that was being. Oh, that's me. That guy. Me. Yeah.
Okay, I'm like trying to keep things together back here and you cracking jokes. Well, we are blessed enough to actually have this guy be a co-host of this show. So, yes, I am very inspired about what is going on. Wonderful.
But no, I was just listening to the information, and I'm a big critic of myself, and I'm always trying to see, did I do a good enough job to give a person some inspiration or some insight or some how-to when I'm talking to them, because you want to keep things very plain and simple when we're dialoguing with the public, so that it doesn't fly over their head. And in certain business language, when you're talking to people that are not in business, you don't want to use the language of the business. You want to keep it very plain and simple. And so in listening to what I was saying, I think that it was very plain and simple for those people who may be aspiring to become entrepreneurs. It should be our goal as businessmen and women to never really talk above where you are. It's just like when you're dealing with somebody that's very new. I had 2 customers in the store today, and the husband and wife, and the wife was talking to the husband about did he think that she could take the pepper spray that we sell on the campus, and that triggered me to go right into what were you taking up in school? And she said business management or whatever. And I said, may I ask why you taking that course? And she said, well, I want to open my own school. I say, oh, that's great. I say, so now let me give you a little information about us. We got BIB Radio. BIB stands for Blacks in Business. I told her about our BIB Blacks in Business page in St. Louis, as well as the main page. And I told her, I say, sister, there are so many things that college is not going to give you in reference to business. The 2 things that I told her, I said, these are the 2 main things that you need to know. First, you need to get into business. Open up a small business or whatever, a booth. Open up a booth at the flea market and learn how to interact with people. That it doesn't cost you much to get the practice. This is like going to a gym. Only difference about this one is this one rewards you financially. So if you practice being an entrepreneur at your local flea market, you could probably pay as little as $10 a day, as much as $25 a day for that practice. Now, while you're practicing, you're going to be receiving a reward instantly for your practice. So that $25 or $15 to $25 that you spent out, more than likely you're going to recoup that. But the greatest lesson that you're going to get that you can't even put a dollar on is the experience of interacting with the public. And now your brain is thinking a totally different way. Just like when you work out, those muscles that you normally don't work out are now being used in a totally different way, and you're going to feel it days later. Well, with this right here, you feel it instantly. So And so, you always want to speak the language that the people can best understand. And that's what when I hear that, I'm like, wow, okay, this is pretty good information. And it just makes me thank God for the 22, now going on 23 years of business that I've been blessed to be in. And I can honestly say that I'm humbled to be a servant, someone who can share what they know with people who are aspiring to go into business and make sure that they get the correct information.
Absolutely. Well, we have a question, and I believe Scotty has his hand raised. Scotty, go ahead.
Yes, it's not really a question, but a comment that I picked up when you were having, Robert, interaction. I think the guy was a customer, but he mentioned you were talking about Black Wall Street. I think he brought it up, and he was insinuating how it was destroyed. You know, how people come and destroy our communities and our businesses, and you told him that's no excuse. You know, we terrorize each other, and that is something that I always think about whenever I hear people talk about Black Wall Street, and they talk about, you know, they had their own this and they had their own that, and I always say, but they didn't have a militia to protect it, okay? And so we have to look at the past and see our mistakes. And that's what I wanted to share with you, that I appreciated your answer to him, because, I mean, if you can't protect what you have, then you know what? It's right for the taking.
That's right.
That's just nature in itself. That's just a part of nature. The strong will survive and the weak perish. So everybody doesn't have that righteous, I just want to be good to people mindset. Everybody doesn't have that. There's a program on TV. I just recently figured it out, what it was all about. We look at it as entertainment. It's called Shark Tank. Now, we see that as a great business investment tool for up-and-coming business people. But think about what the name of the program is. Shark Tank. Now, they always warn you when you go into business about the sharks that are in the business. Well, when I thought about the whole thing about Shark Tank, I said, wait a minute. That's why they're always offering to take percentages in your company that are just like crazy. 50% of your company we'll make that loan. Their terms are pretty lucrative for them. And I said, wow. So they're strong financially. Strong survive. It's just the nature of the beast. So you got to be able to, as you said, protect what you do, and then another part of avoiding the sharks is some companies. I've seen just a few people on that show that would not accept the offer and decided to just keep building. And that's Master P. We just heard an interview with him riding home from Chicago. And he said they offered him $1 million to sign. But he said, if they offer me $1 million, I got to be worth, I think he said $400 million or something to that degree. And he did not sign with the company. You can't be greedy, but you just got to be able to sit back and let it all happen and not be afraid. And that's why I always tell people in the streets, how do you have the nerve to move on one another, but then afraid to move on somebody that causes more damage, more harm to your existence, but yet the person that can cause the least amount of harm to your existence, you do the greatest amount of destruction to them.
I have another question.
As business owners, you got to know that business is warfare. And if you are afraid to take it to where it needs to be taken sometime, I mean, if I have to put you out of business because you're coming at me the wrong way, if I have to make the sale so cheap to where I force your hand, don't make me have to do that, because if you don't know how to buy it right and I do, I have the upper hand.
Okay,
So,
let me
I mean,
interrupt real quick, Robert. I'm sorry, but you're absolutely right. But we have a few people that are on the line, and they might want to comment. So I want to make sure that they know that you can, I believe, dial *6, and we can see your hand raised.
No, that's
and you can make
star.
Oh, star. What is *6? The old one. You can dial *, and we can see your hand raised, and you can make a comment or whatever you need to do. But let me remind everybody, 1-866-510-9025. Okay. And if you want to raise your hand, *. All right. Okay, Robert, continue on with what you were saying. And then Scotty wants to ask a question. Okay.
Yeah. So just finishing up, like I said, be prepared when you go into business to arm yourself with the correct information, because the correct information is like a gun to a policeman. In business, the correct information is like a gun to a policeman. So once you have the correct information, just in this marketplace that we're in, there are people who just go into business to copy what they see is working for someone else and then begin to do that for themselves. Well, if you don't have direct contact with manufacturers and you're dealing with the same people or wholesalers like them, then they can't affect what you do. But if you have direct contact with the manufacturer of that product and they don't, you can affect how long they stay in the business. You see, so that correct information is your most powerful weapon when you go into business. So
I definitely agree.
So you said Scotty had a question?
Yes, Scotty's there. He has a question. Go ahead, Scotty.
Yes, when you were talking about Shark Tank and the sharks in the business, I started thinking about this deal. You know, Jay-Z has that Tidal music platform where he working with a bunch of artists to distribute their music. And I just read about a deal that he just made with Sprint, the cell phone carrier or the mobile phone carrier, to where they will have exclusive streaming rights of the music. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. All right, he's going to have access to 45 million subscribers on Sprint Network. They can, get access to the Tidal music. That's their product. But then I read further down that he gave up part ownership of his company to Sprint in order to make that deal. So my question is, do you think that was a good deal or not?
Depending upon how much of the ownership that he gave up, and what was his perspective on that, because the numbers, it's a numbers game that's involved in that. You're dealing with Jay-Z, who is definitely tied to some pretty sharp financial people. I mean, this man owns basketball teams, and the list goes on and on and on with the businesses and the entertainers that he's under. So I'm just going to assume that he is tied with some pretty savvy financial advisors or people that's in the know. However, Sprint is a very, very large company within itself. And
I have the information. Sprint takes 33% of Tidal for a reported 200 million. So I didn't have that information before. I just knew I had to look it up. I knew they took 33%, but I didn't know how much, if they gave him any cash or, paid him anything for that ownership. Because I thought it was just we'll give you access to our customers on our network, if you give us part ownership. So I would say that's a bad deal. But if he got 200 million, I still don't know. But then I was thinking about what you also said about, I think you said Master P. When right. He was looking at, okay, they gonna pay me and sign me to a contract, but if I start my own, who knows what I can do. So he gambled on himself.
And he won.
Right. He did gamble on himself because he actually started his business off of a really small life insurance policy from his grandfather. I think it was like $10,000 or something like that. It was very low.
Yep, 10,000.
Yeah, it was very low. And for some of you that have been following Master P, he started out by selling like the CDs or tapes out of his trunk, and he was talking about how he had his bathroom shower as the recording studio. Apparently, he's going to have a film coming out pretty soon. I mean, it's my dream to have him come on the show because I followed Master P for a very long time. So I don't know, maybe Master P, if you're listening, you are definitely invited to BIB Radio.
And
but
the reason, Sisi, that I asked the question is I thought about BET, how black people create companies only to sell them to non-black people. So I'll mute myself. I'd love to hear y'all thoughts.
Okay. Well, I mean, Master P is one that I definitely look to as far as like having really done it because he did not sell out. I mean, everyone else, they've taken these, what do you call them? Like a prepayment or something. That's how they always get in all this trouble because they've basically given everything away before they even made it. So then when they start looking really good and they have fans and the money is being collected, they just actually get none of it. And I think we're seeing that today on the New Edition story that everybody's talking about. Their first check was like $1.25 or the dollar. It's something crazy. But I definitely like how Master P has done his because he's made those necessary sacrifices to sustain himself as an independent business owner. And he's teaching his son to do the same thing. Well, his children, I say, but he's teaching his son to do the same thing. And that's what we have to do. We have to pass down generational wealth so that we can move this thing in the other direction. But I think what we need to do, Robert, if you don't have anything to say, I would like to get started again on the video, but my gosh, now it's like 6:21. We'll do as much as we can of the video, listeners. But again, we're going to post it in BIB Radio and you can listen to it in its entirety. It's definitely something that you want to go over again. What I recommend is that you listen to it through the first time and then the second time take notes. You know, if you're busy trying to take notes while you're listening, that's not really listening. That's listening to take notes. So listen through the first time of the video with Robert. Then the next time, listen to it to take notes, you know, and just keep this information for yourself. Again, seek all the free information that you can obtain for yourself to start or maintain your business. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the video again, I guess, for a few minutes. And then the last half hour, we'll just kind of let it flow. All right, Scotty, we can go ahead and play the video.
So that was mind-boggling for me. So that property literally, for me personally, really changed the way that I seen how men correspond with one another. Mm-hmm. And it taught me, again, going back to BIB, it just really taught me that if we don't help one another to success, then who's out there to help us to success? You see, that brother did something, took money out of his pocket, actually, and put it on my table for me. He actually gave me a chance to do something with that money that I was paying him to come into ownership. Now, with that happening for me, there's a thing that I saw on a movie or something called Paying It Forward. Well, from that lesson, everybody that I came in contact with, I wanted to share with them how to buy real estate. Every business owner, every hustler that I knew from hustling in the street, I'm all in there. Hey, brother, man, you should be doing it like this. Go buy the property, open up the store, do this. You know, and I was trying to share that with them. And so with BIB, being in the backseat of that car, what's up, big bro? Coming out of the backseat of that car, you know, while I was in there, that I was inspired to create BIB Blacks in Business. And the goal of it was to actually aid and assist young black entrepreneurs to success with correct information. And it was strictly, we didn't have a profit to make out of it. It was strictly just being done because I wanted to help. You know, and then as time went by, we started coming up with ways to try to make money out of it. We still haven't got to that stage, but that stage is definitely coming about where we probably, be able to sell you this information with wholesaler connections and stuff like that. That's eventually coming up. But so that's how BIB got its start. That's where the motivation came from.
What is it about black businesses that seem to go out of business so quickly? What is it that we need to actually learn to do to keep our business functioning? We had mentioned before, I guess I kind of pre-interviewed stage about a particular grocery store that kind of went out of business and what your thoughts were on why they did go out of business. What kind of advice would you have for entrepreneurs in the future that want to start a business to stay in business?
Well, be willing to shift gears.
What does that mean exactly?
That means if what you got going, if you're starting on a limited budget, okay, and you don't have and you really should start on a limited budget before you start dumping a lot of money into it, in my opinion, because that way you'll get a chance to see if you can really swim or sink in whatever it is that you plan on doing. But entrepreneurship is not just about being in one particular business, and then if that don't work, you go back to the job. So when I say being able to switch gears, if this is not working, then find another product, find another service to actually jump right into, because those bills, that billing cycle in your home is every 30 days. And you ain't got 60 days to 90 days out before you can pay that bill it's going to be shut off within 60 days, I'm sure. So if you can't shift gears and do something else over here to maybe prolong this side, this may be what you want to do, but you got to have something else that you can do that's for sure that's going to keep the bills getting paid, and then slowly but surely build what it is that you want to do. That would be my suggestion. I always say that I had to hustle at whatever I did. I don't care what I do. I gotta know how to hustle the industry. So in the soap industry, well, for me, coming from the streets, I like to take a 5-gallon bucket like this here, and then I'll break it down, just like the brothers did on the block. We take I make 5 gallons of soap out of this. I'm sure they know what I'm talking about. You take this one 5-gallon, and then I'll break it down to 5 gallons. That way, your money go further. So I call that hustling the industry that you're in. You see, and with every product that you have, you do that. And the smaller the quantities, if you go in the stores, you notice the smaller the quantities, the more expensive they are. That's just in anything. So the bigger the purchase, the smaller the price. The smaller the purchase, the larger the price. Well, those are ways you make money. That's hustling the business. And a lot of people don't get how you have to hustle. You gotta be a mouthpiece for yourself. You gotta get out here and solicit your business. You got Facebook now. You got Instagram. All these different social media things. Facebook allow you to pay for advertising. Pay it. Don't be cheap. Pay it. I pay it all the time. I create my own advertisement, and I send it all over the United States. We got I made a video advertising my laundry detergent and say we wholesale. And I sent it all over the United States.
How much does it cost to ship?
Well, actually, it's not even beneficial to ship by a 5-gallon, because it costs more than the 5-gallon cost to purchase to ship it.
Okay.
So what we suggest is we're looking for people that want to become distributors and buy a whole pallet. A pallet run you $720, but the shipping is based on your zip code. So you get back with me with your zip code, then I can tell you what your shipping is going to be. But in certain regions, man, I know guys selling the soap. All right, now, fellas, I know the guys are selling the soap for $45, $55 a barrel. 5-gallon bucket. And it's good money. It's a no-brainer. And when I started selling, I almost wanted to kick myself for not selling the soap, because it's laundry detergent.
Right, everybody needs it.
Right. So, it's just, and those are the things that if you don't know what you want to do, just stick to the stuff that you know everybody needs. You can go right in your own house. You know, people use
toilet paper.
There you go. Toothbrushes, toothpaste.
Yeah.
You know, they need that. Bar soap. You know what I'm saying? Towels. Matter of fact, I had a whole rack of towels out here that those towels, I'm really gonna get some more in, but they just kept selling. Yeah. Real simple. You know, it's a lot of ways to make money. A lot of times we look for the grandeur stuff. Right. When it's right, plain and simple in your face. So, you know, that's what I was saying.
I used to work for Procter & Gamble, and trust me, it doesn't cost much.
No.
It doesn't cost much.
It don't cost much.
And when I was supervising up there, my employees will make sure everything runs good and everything. Probably the most, it's not really that expensive, but they buy the packaging in bulk. Right. Which saves them more money. And then they put their own brand, of course, they brand to it from the research and development, because that's what it really costs, the research and development. Then the copycats come afterwards. Right. So we would sell to Sam's, which I worked for them as well. Sell to Sam's. What Sam's do when I was working for Sam's, what they would do is see what sells, and if it's really, really popular, go to the same manufacturers that P&G would probably do. Right. Put their own brand to it, put a twist to it, right, and just basically copycat the recipe. Yeah. Put their brand into it. Right. Then jack up the price on P&G to basically put their brand on their shelves. Right. So then they're like, well, damn, you know, they want a bigger discount, and when they don't get it, they have a reason to get rid of them and sell their product. And that's what a lot of times that they do. And it seems like we can do that ourselves in a way.
Oh, well, we're that's what we're working on. We got a brother that's here from Texas that's actually helping me come up with, you know, this manufacturing side of this. You know, so it's and he's a brother. And he actually is, I mean, engineering and chemistry and all that, whatever, perfumes, he do all that kind of stuff. So, and that's what we're talking about doing now, you know. And I got a plan for the laundry detergent. You know, we ain't trying to reinvent it. We're just trying to put a different spin on it. Exactly. And I did my homework, and I haven't found in the marketplace what it is that I'm trying to do with laundry detergent. It's going to be more personal, just however you like it, whatever your personal preference is. Scent-wise, we got that for you.
That's good.
Yeah, we got that coming. So, you know, it's like I say, it's just tweaking it. You ain't got to reinvent it. Just tweak it to where it's different. Same thing, but just a different spin on it. You know?
What advice do you have, again, and I kind of asked this earlier, just from a perspective of seeing the talent that a lot of young entrepreneurs have, what would you say to them as far as trying to get their business started? What kind of motivational advice would you have for them?
Definitely hit the trade shows. Travel, do the trade shows. Again, the trade shows put you.
And how do you find out about the trade shows?
You can.
Our program, they can go in the archives and listen to
yes, ma'am. You can definitely. I'm gonna give you a tip. Go to Facebook and type in BIB Radio, or go to Facebook and type in BIB Blacks in Business, and you look for this logo right here. Okay. When you see this logo, then you can ask to join whatever city you in. Ask to join, and join in that city, and then you can reach out to me, because I could tell you to. I can tell you to go and Google it, but when you Google trade shows in your city, and they'll come up like just abbreviations like CES. Now, if you don't know what CES stands for, you got a list of trade shows that's just like that. They're all abbreviated. So the thing of it is, I spend a lot of time looking for specific trade shows and knowing how to maneuver through that web of trade shows. You know, and like I say, you can get us on BIB Blacks in Business in whatever city that you're in. You can get us on BIB Radio. Us on Facebook. Or you can get at me on Facebook at Robert11X. That's ELEVENX minor, and I can respond to you there. I can give you my cell phone number, which is area code 1-314-791-3210. You can call me, text me. The best thing to do is text me. The best thing to do is email me. My email address is Robert11, the number 11, X minor, MINER, and I'll check, you know, those sources. Now I'm busy, got a lot going on, and I will get back with you within a 72-hour time frame for sure. And that kind of information, I love mentoring. I love being that person to help people out. So definitely get back with us on that level, and we'll respond back to you.
Another quick question, sir. Let's say you can visit yourself at any given time. We'll just imagine this. What age would you visit yourself, and what kind of advice would you tell yourself?
If I had a chance to revisit myself at a young age,
knowing what you now know now, and you can visit yourself at any age, whether it be 17 or 20 something or 30, whatever the case may be, or even just yesterday. It's up to you. What age would you go back in time to visit yourself?
It's Todd Franklin. Yeah, that's good. I would say, based on my maturity, because see, you know, home life dictates where a person is mentally. I've had young men that were 9 years old who were exceptions to the rule, that was very, very ready for business. And I've seen a lot of 9-year-old guys that was a long ways from being anywhere near entertaining business. And you can't always force a person to do something. You know what I'm saying? If you do force them to do it, they're not going to really want to desire to do it. But those that desire to do it, it just depends on being able to spot that genius in a young person, you know, that entrepreneur in that young person. And that's where we, as the elder brothers, we have to constantly looking to develop that, to nurture that in young people. But if I just had to go back, there's another thing to that too. There would have to have been somebody around me that was entrepreneur that I could role model. That could have been my role model.
What about you? If you're visiting yourself, you're the ultimate example.
Oh, well,
so
man.
What kind of advice would you tell your other version of you? At what age would that be? And what would you tell yourself?
My son is 4 years old. I got a 4-year-old son. I'm glad you made me think of something. I got a 4-year-old son. I had him in my van with me one day, and I had him working. And I said, Khalil, put these gallons of bleach in this box for me. And I videotaped him. And I saw the eagerness in him wanting to do something, and for me, his dad. And if I had that all over again, I would do it. I would go back to about 3 or 4 years old, just when they're starting to really get their motor skills together, and start working with them right there.
Working with yourself.
With myself, yeah.
So as old as you are now, you would go back to 3 years old and talk to your 3-year-old self.
Yep.
And what would you say? Because let's say you only have an hour to spend time with yourself. What kind of advice would you give to your?
It would be a hands-on type of thing.
So
we would be when an hour. I would appeal to a 3-year-old fun time, but I would have that where it's a learning fun time, and we were doing something, and I would tell him, never work for anybody in your life.
You think you can get that at 3 years old?
You may not be able to get it, but that would be the first thing that I would suggest saying to any young child. Never work for anybody while they're working with you. And your language gotta be, we work together. I never tell young people that you work for me. I never say that. We work together. You know, and that's what I would tell. That's what I tell my son. He was just up here the other day, and soon as his feet touched down, I had him working. And I just wanted to see if that's what he wanted to do. And the first thing, he started working. I said, Khalil, put this over there for me. And he immediately grabbed it and put it over there where I wanted him to put it. And I gave him another assignment, and he carried that out. And I just wanted to study that. And just like clockwork, he went, because when children love, and it's natural for them to love their parents. Now it's on the parents to put children to work. Because the children want to prove to you that I can do whatever it is that you ask me to do. Children want to have responsibility. They learn better with responsibility, in my opinion.
Oh, they do. I was watching a movie. I don't know if you guys seen Queen of Catpaw, I think that's the name, pronunciation. Anyway, it's a movie that just came out this weekend. And it was about this African girl. It was based off a true story, who became a chess master, and she beat like the best in the world. Yeah. And all she wanted to do was please her mom. You know what I mean? It's like, and she did work for her mom. Her mom was like selling her to sell corn for the mesa, or mesa, if you want to call it that, and to actually help the family out. So the whole family starts selling different products to feed the family. And they're so eager to please, especially at certain ages, you know. And all the time she was learning how to play chess, she was still wanting and dreaming about buying her mom a house and getting out of the poverty situation that they were in. It's actually a very, very good movie.
I know the movie you're talking about too.
It's pretty good.
I think they did it in Africa or something like that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Filmed in Africa.
Yeah, I seen that.
And I was really surprised that Disney did it.
But Lupita Nyong'o?
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very good movie though. You guys highly recommend going and watch it. I wish we had a black movie theater we can enjoy that.
You're right.
You know, but unfortunately, you know, maybe that's next in Black in Business.
Yeah, we definitely got to do something. I mean, something huge. You know, my partner tell me all the time. He said, "Man, don't sell yourself short. Put your name on $1 million contract, and don't go anything less than that." You know, so I'm looking to do my first $1 million contract. Whether it goes, it's a winner or a learning experience, because it's never a losing experience. You know, it's only either I'm gonna get that deal or I'm gonna learn from that deal.
It seems like we're giving a lot of money to different organizations, and they're not really giving us money back or helping the black communities. I hate to point it out, but let's just be real. We give a lot of money to different churches, and we don't seem to get that same comeback to us. And there's so many different preachers that's been indicted, you know, with having these lavish $2 million homes and things like that, but they're not really giving back to the community. It's only a handful of churches that I actually see give back to the black community. I think Friendly Temple is one where they built like they built like all different type of facilities.
Yeah, they got apartments, homes,
and the daycare center, old folks homes and stuff like that. So stuff like that I can get behind, but it doesn't seem like a lot of these churches are doing it. What if there was a black organization that really, I guess, held people accountable? For example, I thought about this. You give a donation, and as soon as you give the donation, you see that donation. So they said that you gave $5. It instantly pops up. Another person gives $3, another one gets 50 cents, another one $30,000, so on and so forth. We have a plan in action to actually do positive things for the black community, you know, to the point to where we would actually have, you know, say this is our project that we want to do, and we actually start doing that project. For example, we start buying these schools, we start having these different things, we start going to trade shows, we start doing all these different types of things that would help us move forward. Would you think that more black people would get behind that as opposed to not doing it at all, not doing anything? And how can we do something like that and get things moving for us to get from the conditions that we're in?
Sadly to say that there's going to be a lot of loss of black life in that passage to freedom. Because there's the only people I can see that really are going to actually want to really do this is people of like mind. Mm-hmm. And when I say people of like mind, then you got a very small percentage when it comes to that thought, like-minded people. Mm-hmm. Well, there's only a very small percent that's going to actually want a righteous community, a righteous environment. Mm-hmm. You see, most people want freedom, but they want freedom accompanied with foolishness.
For example, what do you mean?
They want to be free of this Caucasian, but then free to do the dumb stuff that they still doing.
I got you.
You see, but see that's not gonna, like, for instance, if I was to, me and a group of people would come together and we were to buy one of these school buildings and that started becoming a trend. Mm-hmm. Well, up in that building, none of that foolishness would be tolerated. See, we're not gonna allow you to come up in there with no weed smoking, mm-hmm. no drunkenness, mm-hmm. no disrespect to black women, mm-hmm. no smacker, flipper, rubber down type of music. Mm-hmm. No, it's gonna be an environment where you can come in, you're gonna respect it, mm-hmm. it's gonna be clean, we're gonna eat good, clean, wholesome food, organic food grown by us. Mm-hmm. You see, now a lot of people say that they want a freedom, but they don't want righteous freedom. Mm-hmm. They don't want a righteous lifestyle. Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody, that was a video, and we have placed it in its entirety in BIB Radio on the Facebook page in all capital letters, and we will go ahead and post it in all social media, including BTR Network. If you haven't joined BTR Network, feel free to do so, because it is an all-black social media page where you don't have to feel threatened by anything that you need to say concerning being black. All right, so if you are listening to this program, thank you for joining us. We are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you'd like to join us every Thursday, just go to your computer at www.uberconference.com/Black Talk Radio Network, or you could also feel free to call in. But right now, what we're going to do is not waste time. If our listeners would like to chime in, they can press ***. But Robert, I would encourage you to tell us what your thoughts are, because you, again, have not heard this video in a while. And I'm sure that you were teaching yourself some things as you sat there listening in amazement.
Right. You know, it's listening to this. It's just like reading a book. A person can read a book, and you ask that person, you look at those books on the person and you say, have you read the book? And they say, yeah, I read that book. And then you ask how many times, and they may say just one time. And for me, I never could understand how a person could read anything, whether it be text or the actual human being, and say that you got all you needed to know just by one reading. You know, I view a lot of videotapes and listen to my audio books, and I listen to those things and those videotapes over and over and over and over and over again. And each time that I listen to them, I'm at a different point in my life, whether it be a month from now or from then, rather. But each time I listen to it, I take away something different, because in a day, in an hour, you have a new experience, which can give you a new perspective on things. So listening to this, I was like, wow, you know, that was almost a year ago, but there are certain knowledge and truths that, and songs, just like we was listening to a song the other day, and I said the song by Houdini called Friends. Those are words. The song is composed of words based off of people's experiences, which makes up their truths. And listening to this, I'm like, man, that's still on point today. A lot of what I said then is what you know, Cece, I still say today. And it's a repetitive thing about when you know something and you want to share it, you'll be a fool to share it one time and think that people get it the first time, and that's
right.
it. No.
Right. Yeah, right. You're right. We actually talked about that the other day. You and I did. And I was talking to you again because I always emphasize learning styles. You know, it's so silly of us. We get mad at people for not suddenly taking on the information, and it's just like in school. I gave the example of me, like when I have to learn something new, like a math subject or something like that. Well, the seed is being planted when I learn it the first time, you know, and I was talking about that too. Listen to the audio the first time, then later on write it. So it's the same thing. Like, okay, if a person is listening to it for the first time, they may not grasp it all of a sudden. They may have to get it a couple times before the lights, bells, and whistles go off. So we can't be angry with our people for not grasping the concept of entrepreneurship right away. Because if they were taught something else, which is work on a job, which is just simply go to college and go get a good job, we have to give them time to actually allow that seed to be planted and for it to grow. Now, we can nurture that seed while it's growing. You know, you don't bash them over the head, but you keep watering them. You keep giving them ideas. You know, they didn't have those opportunities that Khalil, you know, might possibly have. You know, as a little boy, he got to put the bleach in the box. Well, they didn't get to put the bleach in the box. They got to be taught that you go to school and you get a good job. So as we nurture these people who are coming into entrepreneurship, we just have to believe that those seeds will soon grow. And, you know, I appreciate being able to put this video on the network. Thank you, Scotty, for playing that for us. I appreciate the wealth of knowledge, Robert, that you bring to us all as we are embarking on our entrepreneurial endeavors, both new and old. And I appreciate you for listening to your own advice and running with it and keep doing what you do. But I think if you don't have any last thoughts, I'm just going to remind everybody to support the blacktalkmediaproject.org, join BTR Network, and definitely join us here next Thursday for Black Talk Radio Network's BIB Radio. Robert, do you have any last thoughts?
Cece, thank you for putting that show together today. It definitely is a very humbling experience for me, and I'm sitting here just reflecting, and at the same time thanking God for this whole 22-year path that I've been on, and I'm asking Him to give me another 50 to continue to try to reach our people and to aid them to success, aid and assist our people to success. So thank you, Scotty, for allowing BIB to have a format on the radio, on your radio station, and I suggest all those who are black should join Black Talk Radio Network. Join in. This is all black, and this is a family. So thank you again.
Well, you know what? You said another 50, but you know you look 22, so, I mean, as long as you can, if your inner age can go ahead and make sure that it's in alignment with your outer age, then I think we'll be fine. Right?
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Yes,
right.
ma'am.
Well,
Thank you again, Cece.
no problem. It's my pleasure. I mean, everybody needs to listen to what you have to say because it's so important. And as, again, I see you build from, you know, I knew you from the back of the car until now, and then seeing you progress every day and be able to move and shift with the times, but still make things happen. I mean, that's just something that our listeners need to know about and they need to see. Hopefully it will encourage them to contact you on weareblacksinbusiness@gmail.com if they would like some assistance with their business ideas. But yes, everyone, thank you for joining us. We so appreciate you. Join us next week And every week, this time, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We thank you and have a wonderful night.